Friends, 416 days of war. In Zaporizhia and Kherson region, artillery duels continuing all along the battle line, while the Russians carried out airstrikes during the night on selected targets, and this was part of interdiction missions which included targets in Chernihiv, Rivne, Sumy, Kharkiv region as well. Ukrainians too are continuing using their artillery, especially HIMARS, but the ratio remains 1:3 in favor of the Russian artilleries. In north, limited offensive continues in Swatovo-Crimea direction, while Russian forces have managed some gains in Bilohorivka as well as Plastonka. In east, in Marinka, heavy battle is continuing inside the city, while west of Novobakhmutovka, the Russian forces have managed to gain territory on highway H20. While in Avdiivka, the southwest of it towards Pervomaisky, the Russian forces have regained the lost land adjacent to it. While in Bakhmut, situation is pretty volatile and changing fast. Ukrainian counter-offensive is also continuing on local basis. The grey zone opposite train line has swollen to 300 up to 1000 meter. That is space between the two forces which is not occupied by any of them. The Russian and PMC Wagner troops are pushing the Ukrainian forces now into the western part of Bakhmut. In southwest of Bakhmut towards Krasnoye and above, that is northwest Bogdanivka, the Russian forces along with Wagner troops are storming these areas, and also the central position, that is Kromov. The accelerated Russian offensive in Bakhmut and around, even down south in Avdiivka and Marinka, and even in Kharkov direction, seems to be part of their strategy to milk the Ukrainian troops in these areas, their reserves, their weapon surplus if they have any, as much as possible, so that the Ukrainian planned counter-offensive in south is delayed and degraded in due course of time due interdiction as well as war attrition. This is the general situation or scenario of the war zone from south up to north. South, though at present seems to be quiet relatively compared to the other war zones, but the heavy shelling from each side, including air power and even occasionally missiles from elsewhere, ensures that these regions are no more quiet. In north, war is moving at its pace, and in east, due Russians' accelerated offensive, the Ukrainians are forced to pumping their reserves and deplete their reserves as well as ammunition depots. Protest in France is likely to increase, rather already increased, after the Constitutional Court gave verdict favoring the government's pension reform. Remember, Constitution is, or rather even the state is, only for the ruling class and not for the people. This is a global truth. And that brings an end to my talk. Thank you.